and kiss. She say I'm for too late to be where I am today, because I have strong men in my life to emulate. She say going forward, the people I choose to entertain must be wise and support.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, and time right now is 7:45, and we are back with you for another commentary segment on our Activated Mornings program. And usually at this time, we are expecting commentary from Kingsley De Freitas. So we just want to give him a few seconds, because usually he would have already called, but let's just give a few seconds just to see, okay? All right, so we are doesn't seem as though we're going to be getting our commentary from Kingsley this morning. So we are going to proceed with our scheduled topic, or prepared topic. And I lied. Look, Kingsley. Good morning to you, Kingsley.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hi, good. And you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I noticed you talking a bit of carnival this morning, because you had some carnival activities over the weekend, the launching of SDG Carnival 2025. Well, first I want to ask you, you've been paying attention to Carnival long before you come to WEFM?
For the most part, I am not like into all of the activities and events, but for the most part, yes.
Which one of the persons who stood sat as chairman of the CDC were you impressed by?
I don't know who to say I was impressed by. I generally think that person's not. Let me tell you why, right? I generally think that persons in leadership positions sometimes could only do so much with the resources that they have, because you can have all these grand ideas, etc. But if you don't have, especially financial resources to back it or to go through it, what it is that you want to see, sometimes it could be challenging. Now, I'm not making that as an excuse for anybody from the past, but that's just, because even with Rodney coming on board, it was one of my concerns that we are going to be placing so much pressure on him to execute and to be phenomenal or to be different from the others. But my concern was also, would he have the financial resources to be able to see his ideas through? So you
ever wonder what is the criteria they use to see that if, for instance, and whoever they did, because I think Dennis Ambrose did sit as CDC chairman once. Do you ever wonder what the criteria they use?
No. Never gave it so much thought, Kingsley.
Okay. Okay, well, I am not one of the persons who's supporting the new CEO. I don't think because you are a loudmouth supporter of the ULP and you are excellent fan player, make you be fit for the job. All of a sudden, people in Civil, if you could support Rav Gonsav and speak loud about your support, you eventually get a lucrative position where you could get some job that bring a nice change and some privilege. But you're getting the impression from listening to people that Randy Small will be the icon of CDC 2025 and he's going to do a good job. Well, I beg to differ, because I can't think about somebody who stood as chairman CDC who did an excellent job, Somebody might say Dennis Ambrose. Well, he was the family of the former Minister of Culture. And you look at the last person who stood in. So I am not making any big hullabaloo about the person who's sitting as the CEO for Carnival 2025. I don't expect much from him. But the only thing I don't like, for you to get a job in St. Vincent, you have to toe a particular line. If you don't do that, you can't get the job. And all these fanfares, them, who say Randy Small will do a good job. What's them careful them tell me who they are affiliated to politically. And then you will know how it is so unfair for people to just get a job because they're supporting the European, they are loudmouth speaker who speak loud, and doesn't make any sense across the distance again. So I am repeating myself, I am not a supporter of Randy Small. I know that he's an excellent Vincentian. His mom bring up a wonderful young man, but when he come big, he do things to suit himself. And I don't like his politics, and I think his politics is getting where he is today. And that's my rant for today.
Nah, don't go, buddy. Don't go yet. Hold on. So you say that Rodney is an excellent Vincentian. What makes him an excellent Vincentian for you?
Because I know his mom, and I know his mom instilled a lot of discipline in him. And when you look at him, you could see he carries himself with pride, that he's a very disciplined child. So using that is a fact. But his politics, I don't like his politics. I don't think you have to use your politics to get a particular job in St. So why does like do that?
But
everybody in St. Vincent has to do that.
But okay, so maybe he might be politically aligned, yes. But have you ever gone to any of his personal shows? The Steel Expression show in particular. Have you ever gone to it?
I never missed any of his shows.
You've never missed any of the shows?
Yeah, I like his Steel Expression show.
Right. So if you can see that he has a well-executed show in a private capacity, what makes you doubt his competence to be able to be the CEO of CDC?
Because when they speak politics, and they only speak politics because they want to. Rob going to start to hear them saying so. So Rob say, okay, he come up as supposed to recommend it for CDC. I like his politics. This is his job.
But don't you think that maybe he has been considered? He was considered for this position on account of his actual abilities and not so much just by itself the politics. Don't you think that his personal abilities, his qualifications, etc., is what has put him in a better position to be able to hold this position?
Well, here what I do. I'll go resolve from answering that question and hold that question until next year after we're doing the postmortem of Vinci Mars 2024. And if I think that he do a good job, I'll come back right here and tell you that you're all right. But for right now, we can't deal with the politician. I'll have a wonderful day.
All right, Kingsley. All right, so that was Kingsley's thoughts with regards to Rodney Small being in the position of a CDC chairman. And in his view, politics came into play or was in play. And as a result, he doesn't believe that Rodney should be holding the position. Dianna, any thoughts that you have on this?
I don't have any comments.
All right, so I will say that there are times when, yes, I don't believe in persons getting positions just based on politics. And even if Rodney is politically aligned, in this particular instance, I think that he has proven himself to be able to execute the role. And if we have to go based on Saturday, the launch of Vinci Mass itself had dwindled over the years, right? You didn't see persons turning up. You didn't see the diversity of persons necessarily turning up for that particular event. And the hype that has gone into the launch of Vinci Mass and the hype that is surrounding Carnival at this time, would we say that Rodney doesn't know what he's doing or he doesn't? And it's not just about Rodney. Let me always say this. And a leader is only as effective as the team that stands behind him or her. All right. So this is not just about Rodney. This is about the entire CDC team, the entire Ministry of Tourism, the entire Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Finance, the private sponsors, everybody has to play a role in this in order for our major festival to be successful. So I am not just placing this on Rodney. Rodney may be at the helm in terms of orchestrating and being the spokesperson for many of the events, or being the face that is out there along with other members of the team. But it's a team effort, and it's not just about Rodney. All righty, so off of that. All right, so let's get into another topic at this time, one that sort of ties in, and one that we see might be a little bit of a problematic situation here in SVG. It is something that I've noticed that many persons have been commenting on, and while it is that I'm making reference to the Searchlight newspaper from last Friday on the third page, minors threaten the survival of Bagger Fish Fest, says organizers. And this is coming from president of the Bagger Fish Fest committee, Dianna Lewis. All right. So she's saying the last thing that the Bagger Fish Fest committee wants to do is shut down the event. But with the disturbing number of children who are present at the Fish Fest drinking alcohol, begging adults for money, and roaming the streets, the committee feels that the quality of the event is being threatened by the safety of children and the safety of children being compromised. All right. She says a lot of adults have come to her and they've told her that they're uncomfortable with being in this space because of the amount of children that are present and not even present, that they're on the street unsupervised, drinking, partying, and are on the streets late hours and begging adults for money. All right. She says that there are times that parents would leave children at the event, go home, and the children are there at the event whenever they feel like. She says that it's turning out to be a lose-lose situation, because if they shut down the Fish Fest, it is a financial income for many within the community. All right. So we are seeing that there is this issue of minors, of young people being all up in what we would tend to, well, back in my day at least, be called adult events. All right. So, yeah, before I continue, let me just hear from Dianna.
That is an issue that I've heard a lot of adults talk about in recent years. I have a friend who she's really into partying, she's really into going out. And she did say a couple years back that she's not even feeling to go to places anymore because there are so many children in the parties. A lot of adults have been complaining about the presence of young children, teenagers, and even young children at different festivities. And I kind of share the sentiments, because as an adult, you don't want to go outside partying and be partying with children. And I mean, Zena said those who are okay with partying with children should be looked into, because why would you want to be happy with that? I agree. I don't know what to say as it relates to the parental guidance at this time, because parents do know, most of us, we do know what we should do, what we shouldn't do. We do know how we are supposed to take care of our children. But in some places, according to which community you go in, the parental guidance is not as guiding as it should be, and children are really left to do whatever they want. Children themselves are treated like adults. They're allowed to do whatever they want. I don't even know what to say to the Bagger Fish Fest as it relates to this community, as it relates to this activity. Sorry. Because I really would not like to see it shut down. I really would not like to see promoters having to close down events, having to stop having events, because parents are not controlling their children. I know I use the word control, but parents are not keeping their children where they're supposed to keep their children. They're not providing them with proper guidance. They're allowing them to go out. Why is your child in a party? Why is your young child in a party? That's the question, and I've seen kindergarten and grade 1 children in adult parties winding up on each other, adults recording it and laughing, Roleza.
Yeah, but the thing of it is that so the parents, the children at the events, the parents at the events, the grandparents probably at the events, because everybody young together right about now, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So nobody wants to be missing out on anything in particular. Now, I also know of persons, and the thing of it, it's not even just for let's say, free events or free activities. I was always baffled when I would see some of these all-inclusive events. Tickets going for 2 something, 3 something, 4 something, right? And I would see people who are not working, aka secondary school children, up in these events. So the thing of it is that it's not even just, let's say, for a particular socioeconomic, well, let me not even say socioeconomic bracket, right? It's not just about persons attending the free events, but you also have these all-inclusive events where you're expecting that, sometimes the money would be would prohibit certain categories of persons from attending, right? But in this case, we are not seeing that happen.
Yeah.
These young persons are up in the big people events, just like everybody else, or just like the older folks. And it has become a bit of an issue for mature persons who would like to just be able to attend these events, to be able to enjoy themselves, enjoy being around persons of the same age as them, right? However, there's always a however in everything for me, right? There is a problem that I note for young people today. Young people actually do not have a space for themselves where they can go and party, right? When I was growing up, we had things like teen hops, we had fairs, right? Sometimes, depending on your parent, morning mommy, sometimes like for the teen hops in particular, mommy would not let me attend those because she wasn't sure of who was going to be attending. Most of the men, right? She wasn't sure of who was going to be attending, or not the men, let's say males, because it really was supposed to be children of similar age. So she would not let me attend that. But there were house parties. My friends threw house parties. So even if it's a case where I'm not going to the teen hops or I'm not going to the fairs, I had house parties to attend where there would actually be persons who mommy would know. They would know their parents. She would know, who the friends are. She would know exactly who it is going to be there. But children these days don't have that. So where do young people go to party? Where can young people go to party that is just for them? And that is also one of the major issues why it is they're ending up in these big people events, because there's nothing there just for them. I see the conversation again when you talk about young people living, let's say, at Massey, etc., etc. Where are young people supposed to live? Where are they supposed to hang out and congregate? Even let's say it's just in an innocent, safe manner. Where are they supposed to go? So that is also, so while it is, I totally understand where Zena is coming from. I totally understand the concerns of persons who are not happy with, persons of a certain age being at certain events. The thing of it is that young people don't have a space for themselves. And maybe that is also a situation or a matter that needs to be addressed. All right. All righty. And with that, we are going to head on out of this segment at this time. The time here in SVG, it is 8:02. And our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.